You are looking at the Valerion VisionMaster Pro2 projector that can do up to a 300-inch screen. In today's video, we're going to talk about what all the VisionMaster Pro2 can do and some of the benefits of it. It's a 4K RGB laser projector that can bring that cinematic experience into the house and even outside, as I'll show you in a bit. We're going to start off taking a look at it on a 100-inch screen, and then I'll show you it on a wall, a blank wall, just in case you don't want a screen. And then I'll take it outdoors and show you what it looks like on a 180-inch screen. It's pretty cool to be able to sit outside and watch a movie or play Mario Kart on a 15-foot screen. Now, this video is sponsored by Valerion. They did send this over for me to check out. In this video, I want to give you my real world experience using it, show you how it does in the dark, how it does with some light on, and just in the different environments there. Now, if you'd like to learn more about it or save some money with the limited time discount code, I'll put all that down in the description, so go check that out. Before we talk about what all this projector can do, let's take a look at the projector itself. In the box, the projector comes in a hard foam case that you can reuse. You could actually pack the projector up and take it off with you. The size and the auto calibration features make it something you may actually want to take somewhere else. Now, in the box, you get the projector itself, you get the remote, power cable, manual, and a wipe in there, clean off the lens and stuff. The projector is well made. It is a very sturdy, heavy-duty build, a compact build. The thing's got some weight to it. On the front, there is the lens, and there's a camera and some sensors in there that are used for the auto calibration features that we'll talk about in a moment. On the back side, you flip the cover down and you can see the power button, the HDMI ports. You have a USB, optical for sound, and an Ethernet connection. On the bottom, there is a flip out leg so you can adjust it to whatever angle you need the projector at, or you can get the optional desktop gimbal that I have. And when you put it on this, it gives you more flexibility on height, which has come in handy when I took it outside and have just moved in different places. Let's talk about the quick setup features, because I think this is one of the best things about this projector. You have an autofocus, auto calibration, auto keystone thing going on. What that all means is you could take this projector, power it up, point it at a screen, and it will do everything it needs just to get the image to fit on the screen. When you have a projector and you point it at a screen, if it's not perfectly straight on, if it's pointing up or pointing down, you won't get a perfect rectangle. And so what keystone means is it corrects those lines so you square up the image again. With this thing, as soon as it's put down, or even if you move it after it's put down, it will go to this calibration screen. It'll zoom in optically, and then it'll analyze it, boom, crop it down to right where it needs to be, and then we'll do the sharpness. Other than going through the initial setup where you log into Wi-Fi, you pick your Google TV options, and just some of the basic setup functions that you would have on any normal TV, you don't have to do anything to mess with the image quality. For audio, you can connect it to a receiver or another speaker using Bluetooth, but there are two 12-watt speakers built into the projector itself. I was a little skeptical initially on how well those were going to sound. My daughter's having a birthday party next weekend, and my plan initially was to take a Bluetooth speaker and just pair it up with Bluetooth. But after testing it and listening to the sound, it was way better than expected. So I'm not even going to bother hooking it up to a Bluetooth speaker. Here's an audio test coming right from the projector speakers.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on.
That was about 30% volume. Not having to connect a speaker to it makes this thing even more portable, because if you have an internet connection, you can use Google TV and have nothing else connected to this projector. For my setup, I have an Apple TV right on the base of the desktop gimbal, plugged into the back of the projector. And then for sound, it's connected to my set of HomePods. So I have wireless sound coming from the Apple TV, And I just plug in the Apple TV and the projector and done. One of the things I like about using it with my Apple TV is that I only use this remote because I can power on the projector using HDMI CEC. And what that means is when the Apple TV is turned on, it'll automatically turn the projector on. So projector gets powered on and off with the power button. Volume is either controlling my HomePods if it's paired up with that, or the volume button is controlling the volume on the projector speakers. Whether you're using the Apple TV like I am or the built-in Google TV, it really actually makes it easy for this to be a primary projector inside. Pick it up, take it outside, and then take advantage of the auto calibration. So it just sizes itself to the screen outside, and then boom, you're done. You could start enjoying it there. When you're finished, you take it back inside. I put it down. It faces the screen, boom, 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 auto calibrates, and good to go. Next, let's talk about a couple of the tech specs. This has a 3000 lumen output. This is an RGB laser projector that can do 110% of Rec 2020. And Rec 2020 is the widest color range that modern displays can do. And this exceeds that a little bit with that 110%. So it can give you saturated color and cover the spectrum of colors that you would find on content that's out there. It's also ISF certified for precise color calibration, and the projection size can go up to 300 inches. And it has a throw ratio of 0.9 to 1.5 to 1 ratio. That would be the optical zoom used for different size screen instead of having to digitally crop in and losing resolution. So it maintains sharpness even if you're using a larger screen. For gaming, it has a 4 millisecond input lag when running at 1080p and up to 240 hertz, which that is pretty quick for a gaming monitor. The projector supports Dolby Vision, HDR+, IMAX Enhanced, Filmmaker mode, and Active 3D. For smart functionality, there's Google TV built in, but you can also use it with Google Assistant. And there is a mute switch on top of the projector so that Google won't be listening, or you can just hands-free to speak and have it do stuff, or take advantage of the Google button on the remote. It also supports Amazon Alexa and Apple HomeKit. Let's take a look at the projector on a 100-inch ALR screen. ALR stands for ambient light rejecting. And you'll see this is a gray material. It's a Fresnel screen. And what that does is it helps reject light that's coming from above or from the sides. So the light from the projector that's coming straight on, it reflects back to the viewer. This type of screen definitely helps with color saturation and brightness since it's reflecting back light from the projector instead of being washed out as much as a white matte screen would be. Now, my experience in using it with the 100-inch screen is that it felt like I was in a movie theater. When I had the lights down, everything was bright and vibrant, and it was like having a theater in my house. When watching a movie in a dark room, I feel like the colors and the black levels are very similar to my Samsung LCD TV. Yeah, the blacks aren't as dark as you would find on OLED. Just as an LCD, the blacks aren't as dark as you would find on OLED because there's still light shining through on both the projector and an LCD TV. An exclusive Valerion feature that helps with black levels is EBL, which stands for Enhanced Black Levels. And this helps to get those darker black levels and make things pop a little more. EBL technology gives you deeper blacks and a contrast ratio of 15,000 to 1. It definitely helps with darker movies. Now, another feature, and this one's important, with HDR content, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you've gone to the movies, is at times you'll just get that blast of a bright scene that's almost blinding. And you get that same kind of feeling with this projector too. It's like really that movie theater experience. There's a technology called dynamic tone mapping. And what this does is it helps balance some of that out. So the bright stuff isn't as bright as blinding, but then it doesn't crush the blacks and make the black, darker parts of the image look bad. Dynamic tone mapping really just balances out the image so it's not too dark, but it's also not too bright. It is just right. Now, something to note with the projector is that the enemy of any projector is light in the room. And I'm sure you've been to a movie and you've seen the credits and the screen's black with white text, and then they bring the lights up and it starts to wash out the screen. Even though I'm using the ambient light projecting screen, it can only do so much. It's just something to keep in mind. Even the best of projectors only look good in a room that's darker. Here's an example of looking at some content and then I turn on the lights in the room. The content still looks good in there, but the black levels and the darker levels in the scene get washed out some. Light is really the projection killer because there's not a projector out there, even at cinemas, that can outrun bright light. Next, let's take a look at the image on a blank wall. This is a great example of the auto keystone and the autofocus in action. I've taken the projector that was placed on a table, moved it to the ground, tipped it up so it's at a weird angle, and actually the floor isn't level, so it's crooked, and then it runs the calibration and ends up with a perfect squared up image. The wall I'm shining on is a light gray, but you can't tell. The image is bright, it is sharp, and it's shooting from a bad angle, but still looks good. Next, let's take a look at it outdoors. I've set up the 180-inch Valerion outdoor screen. This thing is huge. It is 15 feet diagonal. For my use, we want to be able to watch from the pool or the hot tub. And the screen is currently on an upper level, so it makes for a bad viewing angle sitting back there. I wanted to have the screen lower in my backyard, and I didn't have enough room to bring it down to the next level so we had better viewing. So what I did is I took the legs off, I put it down right on the cement and leaned it against the wall, and then I tied the back off, and boom, it was done. It was in a great spot. Now you could be in the pool and you got a great view. Sit in the hot tub, got a nice large screen to watch. Now the projector itself is about 17.5 feet away from this 180-inch screen. When I turned it on, it ran the calibration. You could see even at that 17.5 feet, it could do a bigger screen than 180 inches. But once that thing was dialed in and the sun set, that image was popping. Here's what it looks like with just the ambient light on in the backyard. Nothing extra added, just whatever lights bleeding out the windows and stuff. And then here's what it looks like when I turn the porch light on. And you could see the darker scenes get a little washed out. But even with those lights on, I'm still impressed that at 17.5 feet away, it can do a 180-inch screen out of a box that is like 1 foot by 1 foot. Once I filmed some test footage and I checked out some different movies on this thing, I had to hook up the Switch too. I got to see what Mario Kart looks like in 4K on a 15-foot screen. And part of me was wondering if it would look a little pixelated, but with the new Switch 2, it can output 4K, and it really looked good. And response time was nice out of it. The projector can handle higher refresh rates, so it gives you nice, smooth gameplay out of it. I actually want to go grab my PC and take it out there and play some Call of Duty on this thing. See what Call of Duty looks like at 180 inches. Now, overall, after using this projector both indoors and outdoors, some of the pros of this, I would say, you definitely get vivid, bright colors. The darker the room, the better. You're going to find that with regular TVs too. Like when we get too much light coming in, our Samsung 75-inch QLED just doesn't look as vibrant as it could. Another pros is that easy setup. You don't need to be a video expert to be able to get this projector working. I love the larger size. Be able to get that cinematic experience, turn off the lights, get the room all dark, and just get immersed in it. It really is a great movie experience. I think the flexibility of being able to move it to different places is pretty cool. Without that auto calibration and the auto keystone, it would be kind of annoying and kind of a pain to take it from inside to outside and then back again. But with that, it's like you don't even think twice. Now, the biggest con of this, and it applies to all projectors, is needing to have the darkest room you can. You know, any extra light you add into that room, it could potentially bounce off the screen and just interfere with black levels. And the reason that happens is black on a projection screen is not shining something there. So if you're not shining light somewhere and something else is shining light, guess what? The black isn't going to show up. The light that's being shined on it is going to show up. Another potential con is the price. This is $2,999. But you can save 15% if you use the link in the description and the limited time promo code, which makes that a little less. So if you're ready to upgrade from a TV to a fully immersive projector experience, go check out the link in the description and save yourself 15% off. What are your thoughts on going from a TV to a big projector experience like this? Let us know in the comment section. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing to check out the next video. If you can, give this one a like. It definitely helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. Bye.